with the homies steaming out. Back to back, and the beam is out. Seems as our plans to get a grant to go off to college, then pan or even out. We need it now, we need a town, we need a place to pitch, we need a map.
On people, Nick is in the building live in full effect.
Hello.
How you doing, Nick?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm ready to get a little bit of turkey in my system, but other than that, I'm doing good.
Same here.
I pulled it, and he was like, "Did you just?" I know. I pulled it. I pulled the whole thing.
I'm not even tripping on you. It's fine.
But I'm happy you're here. I'm happy you found it. Number one, because people. Okay, I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
go.
you had me Lewis and Clarking around this thing, so I do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I tried to make it as easy as possible because the address is completely wrong. So I'm like,
nah.
I'm happy, he knows the Farmers Building. So that was a good one.
I appreciate you saying something really vague, like, "Oh, it's by the bathroom." Like it has 5 of them.
I know it's kind of something like across from the bathroom.
Thank you for the directions. Appreciate that.
I know, but let's get into it. Let's
right.
get into Nick Phillips, the comedian,
yeah.
the actor, the writer, the director. You got the producer. You just do everything. I said.
It sounds like a lie when you say it like that.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me do 2. Let me start over.
Okay.
Nick Phillips, the comedian, the actor.
Oh, that's good. Nah, you got the voice for it. I need to take you on the road with me, man. You got the voice.
But how did you know you wanted to be an actor? Was one of the kids was in front of the TV, doing
yeah.
And he was like, I got it.
Do I have an origin story, basically? Okay, I'll be honest. I didn't. Like, I started out, I grew up here in Dallas, and sports was kind of like what we did. We played, we played football and basketball and everything. I kind of, getting into college, was doing marketing. That's what I was kind of studying. And at the time, I was modeling. I've been modeling since I was like 15, 16 years old.
Oh.
And so I was signed to a couple of agencies here in Dallas, and it went well, but I was very bored. Once you get good at modeling, you just pose and you stare.
Yeah.
And that's really all there is to it. So I got really sick, I think, in 2011, and had nothing to do but sit and watch movies. And I was just like, I was high off of NyQuil. I'm just like, yeah, I totally can do this. Totally. I'm ready. Let's go. And so I literally, kid you not, I went over here to a student film audition. I didn't know they were having it. I just kind of crashed it.
Yeah.
Went in and got my first job from there. So that was literally how it happened.
You know what I should have did there while I was trying to. Maybe I would have been like.
That was all it took. I was horrible. I didn't know my lines. I didn't know anything. The guy was just like, "No, man, I think you're really good." I think they just needed bodies, though, to be honest with you. They just needed people. We need somebody to do this film, and it ended up being the greatest experience, man. It's beautiful.
That's good. That's awesome. So, what celebrities have you worked with?
I guess the most memorable person was Kerry Washington when I did Scandal. Kerry is lovely. She really, I keep it clean. But, she is, no, but seriously, she's the sweetest person. I know there was a scene in Scandal that I did where I was standing on her mark, and she's doing this scene about B613. If you see the show, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh.
It was very heavy. And so she walks over, and I made a mistake. I was standing where she was supposed to be at, and she was just in the nicest voice, "You're in my spot." Oh. And I freaked out. I was about to get fired. Started shows right here. I was flipping out. And then afterwards, she came over to me. She was like, "Hey, it's okay. I understand. What's your name?" And I was like, "Nick." And then she's like, what got me though? She's like, "My name's Kerry," as if I didn't know who she was. My name's Kerry. Nice to meet you. How are you doing? I was like, oh God, my heart just sank.
You know what I'm.
Yeah.
Live. Kerry.
Oh
Live.
Man, I flipped out, man. But I met her. Actually, even on that day, I met her. I met Regina King. I met I think Kevin Hart came by. That same one. I met a lot of different people just on that day on set.
Wow.
And it was pretty intense. But between that, met Kevin Hart on Real Husbands of Hollywood first. He really is that short. I think a lot of people don't know that.
Baby.
Honestly, seriously, I didn't know it was him. I heard the voice, because we just a bar scene, right? So it's like George Lopez was on set, like
Right.
a famous comedian doing like a scene with like Dwayne Martin and everybody. And I see Nick Cannon walking, and I just hear somebody like, I was like, who's this? Like talking, and I look down and like way down.
Oh.
And I see him. He's like, my man, can you move? I was like, oh, excuse me. And then he didn't even know I was like in the scene. He was just like, oh, I'm sorry, man. I was like distracted and everything. But he was a character to play himself. Oh yeah, that's the craft.
You know what? That's fun. So, with you meeting these different celebrities, what advice did they give you, or what did you take from meeting them?
I'll put it to you like this. Actually, I met Joan Rivers, the late Joan Rivers. You know, she's amazing. Yeah, Joan is amazing. I met her on Fashion Police. I wasn't working it. I was actually just attending the show.
Right.
And had the opportunity of a lifetime to just speak with her about the business and everything. And the first thing she told me is, you know, just if you're doing something, make sure you love what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was the simplest thing. It's just like, she's like, don't overcomplicate the process. You know, even though you're going to want to quit every day, you know, kind of stick with it and just keep pushing forward. And she was like, the people who persevere are the ones who we see on like on the shows, on the movies, and everything. So that was really cool because it was one-on-one. She's like, I don't care what your talent is or what you do. If you stick with it, you know, years from now, people will be asking you that very same question. So it was beautiful.
Look at you mingling with. Look at you. Now you have your production company, NNP. Tell me about the production company and how did it get started?
Okay, so NNP started last year in August, and the whole point of it was to be a media production company. It's not just for films. I want to branch into fashion and to music and different things. Films obviously are just where my home is at.
Right.
And it started because in Los Angeles, like during that summer, like, I hadn't gotten work. Like I went up for the E! Network to try to be a host when Terrence J left, and I didn't get that job. And so I was like, all right, well, now what? And I spent like 3 months where I wasn't really doing anything. And so like I had ideas for stuff I wanted to do, and I was like, man, I should really like write this stuff. I had never written anything, and then finally jumped on board and developed like a script for a crime drama. And I was like, yeah, I need to like produce this too. And so I talked to what's now like my producing partner, writing partner, and closest friend, and he's like, dude, just go for it. And then went for it, and here we are. I was like, all right, let's get the license for it and everything. And that's what it is.
Let me find out. I need to go to NNP Productions. You know, I get.
Thank you. I'm holding auditions.
You know how to give that.
Yeah, that stare.
Yeah, cut that out. We don't need. Y'all see what I did. I know. I know. So I'm gonna get focused.
Okay.
Okay. So, what projects have came from NNP Productions, or anything in the works right now?
Several things, actually. Okay, so the first thing that I was making was called Jackson LA, and it was more so kind of like a teaser. Nobody's really seen it yet, and the whole idea behind that was because I didn't know I could do this, and it took on a very ambitious project to begin with. Like I probably would have needed thousands and thousands of dollars to do the whole thing, but that one didn't go through. What I actually ended up doing after that was because I love horror films, and black people never make it in the horror films. Like, I was like, let me make one.
You know what? I'm so happy.
Seriously though, like
we never. It's like why we got two scenes. Y'all know we fight.
And that's it. Like I'm 6'4", and I go into a scene. They're like, okay, now they're gonna have like a short 5'2" woman kill you. I'm just like, come on, man. Like that's how I gotta go out. Oh no, but she's really terrifying.
That makes it bad.
Yeah, so I'm like, nah, man. So what I did was I created a script where I played, the lead character. The film's called Chandler's Game, and the idea behind it, because my favorite movies are like Saw, and like I love the Saw series, and I love like any kind of paranormal activity kind of thing. So what I made was a script where a man named Chandler is like the sociopath. Imprisons these 5 people into a room and kind of gives them an hour to live before a bomb detonates outside. And so it starts off with these people kind of being civilized and, where are we at, what's going on? And then you watch them turn, and you watch kind of human nature unfold as the movie goes forward, and I'm just kind of pressing the buttons and I'm architecting the whole thing. So that's
Yeah.
that drops this month. Actually, it's coming out, or hopefully before Christmas.
Let me. Yeah, I'm happy you wanted to see perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So yes, but my roots are comedy. So I'm going back to that. Like as soon as this goes over and this is done, I'm heading back and I'm making a project next year. That I'm
doing stand up.
I'm doing stand up too, but this one's actually going to be a web series I'm going to do called Hardly Working. It's a workplace comedy where we do nothing at work. I've never had a corporate America job, so
Must be.
Yeah, like if I wanted to pretend to do it, you know what I mean? Like it's like I never actually, nobody's ever been like, hey, put this suit on and do it. So I'm like, well, I work in make believe, so like now I can, you know. So it's my take on the corporate world. So
From your face, I can tell this is going to be hilarious because you know you don't have to drop none. You don't have to drop none. When it comes to you being, starting producing and directing, what are some of the people you looked for or looked up to as far as drawing your inspiration from?
I would say there was a couple people. Originally, I love kind of the people like Martin Lawrence or Dave Chappelle or Richard Pryor, guys who kind of, you know what I mean? They were very funny, but they kind of took one thing and they branched it out into several different pots. They had their hands in a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
That was kind of where I started from. You know what I mean? Just kind of that was kind of like the mold.
Okay.
And you can't copy people that iconic. Right. You know what I mean? But the idea is that maybe I can mirror some of that and like take kind of what they did and just adapt it to my own weirdness and socially awkward mentality. And I'm like, all right, let's work it out. You know what I mean? So those are the kind of the guys that I kind of modeled it, after. And now I know it probably looks nothing like it now because I started so early. I didn't even mean to do it this fast, but you kind of just let go and let God and see where it takes you.
What is one director you would absolutely love to work with?
Let's see. It's funny. The name that comes to my mind right now is Guillermo del Toro.
Really?
Yeah, like I think it comes from like watching films with my dad growing up. Like I'm a huge like sci-fi fan.
Yeah.
And like I would have loved to have done like Pacific Rim or be in like Alien or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So for me, like I think doing something where I save the world in a sense. Like I know that sounds ridiculous, but I want to save the world one time in my career, just once.
I got you.
Yeah.
I'm not no shame in your game. Save the world.
I want to save the world. So one time where I have a regular job. I'm a pizza man.
See, and you'll save the world, and you won't die.
I won't die.
See,
I won't die. I don't die. I take first billing, biggest check, and then the world is saved. It's a better place because I came along. That's exactly what I'm going for. Everybody needs one.
I understand.
Yeah.
How do you prepare for an audition?
That's a good question.
Because I took an acting 1 class. They have you doing the most ridiculous, and I'm like, I don't really get how me like flapping around is gonna really help.
Right.
It's like, I think she's trying to make us all look fool in class, and then she's gonna put it on YouTube, and we're gonna be made fun of.
Well, here's the thing. For certain auditions, like if I'm going for a dramatic role, I have some kind of training. Not really anything too formal, but and that sounds horrible for the actors that are probably listening. But the idea is that you take what's you and you bring it to the character. You don't take what the character is and bring it to yourself.
Right.
If that was the case, then we wouldn't have multiple actors. We'd have one dude playing everybody.
Right. That's
it. Exactly. So like if I came in like you were going somewhere and I scared you, your scare reaction is gonna be very different from mine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you may flip out and scream like, oh my god, you're gonna kill me. You may do all that. Like, but when I get really scared, like I don't say anything. There's just a lot of tension in my face.
You the scary ones.
Yeah.
Don't say nothing.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if something startles me, like I don't move a whole lot. That's just I don't know why. That's a great way to die. But that if you surprise me, that's what I'm gonna be doing. Like I just want to move.
Oh,
I'll just hold myself there. So that's what I would bring to a character. They were like, all right, we need you to play the biggest coward in the world. That'll be what it looks like.
Yeah.
So audition-wise, I try to bring that. to it every time. You know what I mean? You don't try to be something that you're not. If anything,
That is true.
You just take what you are and then bring it to that person, and then you let the script guide you from there. So that's how I do.
I like that. If you could go back, you say you started when you were 15?
Yeah, modeling 15. I started really acting until I was like 19.
19?
Yeah.
That ain't too far.
Uh-huh.
What would you tell your 19-year-old self?
Oh, God.
What advice would you give your 19-year-old? Because you know sometimes when you look back, you do some of the...
Yeah. No. No, I'll be very honest with you. And I got to give it to my mother and father for what I'm about to say. If I was to talk to myself at 19, I would have said that this isn't life. And that was probably my biggest mistake back then, was I took it as, like, this is everything. Like, I have to get this down, or there's nothing else in the world that matters. And it's because, the job requires you to be self-obsessed.
Yeah.
And it requires you to be very critical. Like, if you work, even with your job, you're your toughest critic all the time.
Yep.
So what you want to do is always, like, self-obsessed. Like, it's got to be like this. But realizing that, hey, like, I have a family. Like, that's what's most important.
Yeah. Like,
if they're proud of my work and they're proud of what I do, then that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
And my friends, my loved ones, everybody, if they approve, then, hey, like, I'm doing the right thing. And that's what I would have told myself, because now I don't really stress about it. Like, whenever the next job is coming, I have no idea. But I know just to be steadfast in the process until I get there.
What do you do besides acting, writing, directing, and making people laugh?
I'm surprisingly really goofy. Probably couldn't tell by how smooth I've been the whole interview. But no, I love to crack jokes, even the bad ones. I love to make people laugh off stage, and I love watching movies. So ideally, my favorite place in the world, as weird as it is to be inside a movie theater. The lights go down, they dim, and they're like, coming this fall. The next one, I love movie theaters. So that's where I'm usually at. If I'm not doing that, then I'm probably like at home. I'm a homebody, listening to music, and then watching people live life. Like turning on the news, like, okay, cool, TMZ, awesome. Nice to know what Jaden Smith's doing. You know what I mean? Like that. That's what I'm doing. It's not that interesting. I'm very normal outside of everything else.
Yeah. I got you on that.
Like the most non-sexy thing to say. Like I wash dishes when I'm not. You know what I mean?
So what projects? What do you have any projects coming up? Are you gonna be on Scandal again? Or How I Met Your Mother? Two Broken. I mean, look at the list. You just meeting all these people.
Yeah, the list is long. I know that right now stand-up's kind of where my focus is at. So just getting on stage and getting myself ready. I have a couple of venues and I'm gonna perform at coming up. So
let me look at Nick Phillips.
Yeah, I got a couple things. I haven't told anybody. I'm still waiting to kind of drop the news until I get like a good set. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's kind of where I'm starting at. So that's what's gonna be doing what I'm doing now. And a couple stuff with some other films and projects. I'm writing, like I said, it's all about hardly working. Your channel's coming out, and I got some aces up my sleeve for next year. Next year's gonna be a big one. I got a lot of films coming out that people haven't seen yet of me doing comedy and still a lot of character stuff. So it's gonna be hilarious. Like seriously.
Your face is making me laugh.
Yeah. I'm so serious. It's gonna be really good. Yeah.
I don't blame you. Listen, let me know where it is so I can promote it. Nick
Yes,
Phillips.
I will.
UTA. Was UTA good to you while you were here?
Yeah, that's growing pains, man. There's a lot of growing pains. It really was.
No,
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, but I do thank you, Sarah, kind of for at least allowing me to figure out what I wanted to do in my life.
Yeah.
That's kind of
it.
That was the greatest guide for it. That's the best gift I probably got.
What motivates you? What keeps you going? You know how sometimes when things don't happen, you don't get the job, you don't get what you do. What motivates you to keep going and say, listen, I could have gave up 2 days ago. Yeah. But right now, I'm just going to press. Although I don't want to get out of this bed today.
Yes, absolutely.
But, what is your motivation?
a couple of different things, but the main thing is really just love. That's kind of what kind of drives me. You know, love that I get from my family and from my support system. Like that is what keeps me going. Like if it's 2 in the morning, you know, it's a night call. It's very easy to be motivated because it's like, hey, I'm on set working.
Yeah.
But you know, when it's 2 in the morning and you haven't worked in 2 months.
Yeah.
And you know you're up, you're trying to write stuff, you're getting ready for an audition that you know that they're going to bring a celebrity in to take the job. That's a lot harder to do, and so you know I just kind of count on the people that were there when I didn't have these problems. You know what I mean? That they don't really care if I make it or if I don't. They're just kind of there to just hey, you know, whatever you're doing, you know, we're there for you, we love you, and that keeps me alive in the business and in my craft. That's what keeps me inspired is knowing that I got that support and that love from the people that always been there.
See, I like this. So when you become rich and NNP Productions coming, you can say, you know what, here you go, just take it. You know.
Oh yeah.
When I didn't have nothing, you
for
me.
No, mom's got a house coming. She already knows that. Mom's got a house coming. So no, she. No, seriously, it's the coolest thing in the world. Just to have my parents there, my first premiere, the proudest people on the planet. Like that was so cool. Like, they were coming up taking interview questions. Like, Mr. Phillips, how'd you do this film? Mom kind of butted in. Hey, so I'm his mother. He's great, wasn't he? Wasn't he awesome? I'm like, oh my God, Mom, stop. You know what I mean? Like, just the enthusiasm was so great. It was so infectious, man. Like that, seeing that smile on her face and on my father's face was everything. I was like, whoa. Nah, I know I'm doing something right.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Next 5 years? I want to be, doing, touring with comedy. You know, I want to be doing shows all over the country and doing much bigger films. Like, I definitely want to have, I would love to have my own franchise for comedy.
Oh.
Like, to make something that, is very iconic. Not something, like, huge, but I would love to do something like a Dumb and Dumber. Or if I did, like, any kind of franchise movie, a Rush Hour, or anything like that. Like, I would love to do something that gets a huge fan base. People are like, yo, like that one character you played, man, like that was insane. Like,
and they see you on the street like,
yeah, like I want somebody to quote my line, like in a movie. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm gunning for. It's like I'm hoping and praying that's like in 5 years, it's exactly where I'm at, just in control of every aspect of my career. So,
what 5 comedians would you want to go on tour with?
Okay, can I take people that no longer perform?
Okay, I give you that.
Okay. If I could choose any comics to go on, I would choose Chappelle first. Number one.
Chappelle is bad.
Yeah, I would do Chappelle, Paul Mooney, Richard Pryor, George Carlin, and Chris Rock. Those would be the 5 guys I would.
You know what, Paul Mooney.
Yeah, those would be. I would love to tour to open for Paul.
Ooh, Paul Mooney, awesome. you gotta like you gotta breathe in and then breathe out with him because he's
amazing. He's truly the godfather of comedy. And
he say whatever
he wants. He
just said it to the white lady sitting.
Yeah. I tell you what, the only person that is like the sick. I don't break the rules. The only person that I didn't include was Eddie Murphy, and that's just because Eddie's like that parable for like what you should do in comedy. He's like the king.
He can like if you can play like 4 or 5 people in one movie.
It's mind blowing. I mean, it's funny because like I'll be doing my stuff and I'll be doing like little jokes or whatever. And then you go home and you may watch like Raw and you're like, man, why am I doing this job? Yeah. Like, there's other more qualified people out there. Like, this is terrible. I'll be throwing my material to the side like, nah, man, I need to bust out and start singing to something. And like, Eddie's just that guy.
Although you work with Kevin Hart, Kevin Hart he's special.
Yeah. He's very special.
I gotta breathe when I say his name because Kevin Hart he's different. He's different. He's out there. He's doing his thing.
No.
What do you want your legacy to be?
I thought about this question actually quite a bit. Ideally, I want to represent kind of just the idea that you can like kind of come from anywhere and have any kind of past or any place, and you can make what you want happen.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I want it to be. Like, I really want to have, like, a certain film or job that, people were like, yo, man, like, this was Nick Phillips. Like, I'd rather have, like, a line of work or just, like, a string of career moves that were inspiring to somebody. that kind of looked at it and they were just like, dude, like, because he came from like this like suburban city. I don't have a rags to riches story. I didn't grow up like poor and starving on the street. I had a great childhood.
Yeah.
So I wanted to show that like, hey, you can come from here and outwork the competition still and get to a place.
Ooh.
That is special. Like
Yeah.
that's you don't have to come up hard to actually work harder than everybody else. That's what I want to represent. And hopefully when I'm 60, 70 years old and I need dependents, I'm in the retirement home, that's what people are saying about me. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want people to be like, yeah, so what do you think about me? Like, you're inspiring me.
Ooh.
That's
And
what
then
it
he
is.
ended with boom.
Boom.
Nick
Yeah.
Phillips. Thank you for stopping by Chemicals Reaction. And you got to look in the camera. You got to let them know. Nick Phillips. You tune into Chemicals Reaction. You got to give me the. I don't care if it's corny. I don't care what it is. Just.
What am I saying?
Just say. Just make sure you put Chemicals Reaction. You on Chemicals Reaction. I don't care what you say. Just give me some. Give me some of that comedy. Give me some of that comedian.
Okay, you put too much pressure on me now. Too much pressure. Okay. All right, so this is Nick Phillips. You've been listening to the Chemicals Reaction live at UTA Radio. How's that? Was good?
You made me want to laugh. Oh my God.
Was that it? Was that,
Yeah,
did I get it? You saw my face? Like
I was trying not to laugh, and then you like, he just had.
I tried to use my sportscaster voice. This is Nick Phillips listening to the Chemicals Reaction. Like I tried to use that.
You know, and you even had the head when you got it.
You gotta move it, man. Like that's the only way to get that deep voice out. Gotta move it.
That makes me and you're reporting live. You're like, what? What are you shaking? Are you cold?
And the weather is outside.
Oh my goodness. That's
So,
it. Yes, you Anchor, you got it.
Yeah, okay, I'm coming next. That's what's next.
Yeah, you got that.
The next
So
forward
thank you for
slash.
stopping by. I greatly appreciate it. Make sure you keep me updated
Yes.
on your productions. I tweet it, Instagram.
Yeah,
I got you.
Please do. Anybody, follow me at I am Nick Norrece. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Nick Norrece Phillips. Yeah, please, like I said, tune in. I love to keep you guys informed, especially keep you informed for sure. I'll definitely be back if you have me. Yeah.
I'll be at the station. I'll be like, yeah, look, Nick, you gotta come down. Look at this. Be like, look at the ghetto end in it.
Hey, remember?
Be like, I remember. Get.
No, absolutely. I would love to come back for sure. Thank you for having me.
But I will. You're so.